Okay, this is just a quick note on replacing the wiper linkage assembly on a Ford F350 or F250 2011 to 2016. These linkages can sometimes go out. They have little plastic ends on them like that. And as they get older, they start to get chewed up. The hole itself starts to get egged out. It pops off and it just won't go back on. And the whole thing needs to be replaced. You can't just replace this part here. So you buy a new linkage assembly like this. It's not difficult to remove, unlike the generation before it. It's actually pretty easy. There's a couple tabs. You pull the cowl out, the plastic pieces. That's really not that hard to get out. And then there's I think 1, 2, 3 bolts to remove this from the center, and you lift it right out. You don't have to snake it through anything. It's not bad. The trouble is, once you get this, and by the way, they sell it without the motor because people complain they don't want to have to buy the whole thing with the motor, which is good because this will sometimes go before the motor does. So when you get it, you want to make sure that these parts move freely. This is super easy to move like that, right? You don't want to put a lot of stress on the motor. It's going to move back and forth. You want that to do this really easily. Trouble is this one over here, brand new part, and it's not moving very easily at all. So that is going to burn out the motor eventually when it's connected here. I'm using the same motor, and I just don't, I don't want to spend another couple $100 on a motor. So if you find that these things are not moving back and forth very freely, don't just assemble it for the hell of it. If I had them do the job, they might have just pulled this out of the supply closet, put it on my truck, and everything would have worked for a little while. Then I'd drive away, motor burns out. Oh, you need a new motor. No. If you're doing this yourself, inspect that part. I'm going to return it tomorrow. They're pretty good about it, and I'll get a new one. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, let's say you need a new motor. Right now, they are out of stock and on back order. There's some part in the motor that they can't get. I'm not sure why, but they're talking weeks to be able to get a wiper motor. And even on eBay, there's some used ones for sale. The trouble is, those used motors, they don't come with the arm right here, this piece. So you have to save that part from your old motor. The other thing about this, say you've got one of these motors, works just fine. You buy a new assembly like I just did. You replace it and you put this arm on there. One of the problems is, see that ball, over time, the grease dried up and it started to get rusty. So I took a file and later a drill with stone. I went all over it and got rid of all the burrs. Yeah, that's right. I polished my ball. It was a lot of fun. I polished both balls. Oh, yeah. So I polished both balls, and then what I'm going to do is grease the hell out of it. I'm going to grease my polished balls. Yeah, right. Okay, and then I'm going to assemble it all together, and things will hopefully track smoothly. Once this gets in there, the greasy ball is going to go back and forth in the socket, top and bottom, because both of them connect there, and everything will work. But it's just an FYI. You can't buy this part separately. This ball right here, if it's rusted and pitted and crappy like that, it's going to chew up that plastic piece. So make sure you polish your balls and grease them up nicely so that everything will work the way it should. Because the motor on yours may not be gone. Like, this is a good motor. And even if you wanted to drop almost $200 on a new one with the arm from Ford, if you can find one, you're lucky. If you can't, you're going to wait forever. And you might not need it. So anyway, those two things, the linkage itself, inspect that before you assemble it, and check your balls. Hope this helps somebody. Thanks.